when I used to be in Madrid, and I would go into a Mercadona, Carrefour, Al Campo, like it doesn't matter which store you go in, and you go in with a backpack, there'd be the security guard behind you. You just always feel this eye looking at you, what you're taking up, what you're buying, and you just in the end you have this thing in the back of your head. My hands should be in a place where it can always be seen by somebody. Like it stays with me.
Yeah.
It doesn't leave me. Every store I go into, every food store, every clothes store, it just stays with me.
Yeah.
It's not something that's really pleasing, like going into a store, just going about your day, and you have to deal with this.
There is this Patrice O'Neill. I don't know if you've heard. He's a comedian where he has this joke about being black, where he's like, everywhere I go, I try to get a receipt of it, because that receipt is my alibi to say that I wasn't the black guy in that area. So that all comes from the trauma of it, bro.
Another thing that you said was with the police. I've had an encounter with the police that I will never forget. Never.
See, it stays with you forever.
It stays with you forever.
You know how many people go through their lives never having been stopped by police? And we are what? We're not even halfway through our lives yet, and we've been stopped multiple times by police. If you have never been stopped by police on the street, you're lucky.
You're lucky. And as Marcell was saying, you know, one thing with like going... I'll get to the police story after this. Yeah.
Welcome everyone. Welcome back to the Yaadman podcast. Today's episode will be a very special episode, like all episodes, very, very special. If you watch this episode and you walk away not learning anything, that says everything we need to know about you. If you watch this episode, especially as a non-black person, and you feel some sort of way, that says something about you. If you're a white person watching this episode,
or an Asian,
and you know you're a racist, this is your time to log off. We don't care about you. If you are a racist and you feel some sort of way, this is the perfect time. I'm telling you at the beginning so you don't waste your time listening as a racist. Because today we'll be talking about the black experience in Spain.
Yeah, it's a heavy topic.
What it is like for us as black people living in Spain. It is Black History Month. Many of our audience probably don't know that Black History Month exists, but Black History Month is normally celebrated in February for most predominantly black countries.
And to give you a fun fact, Black History Month is only 1 month. Black history happens every day.
It happens every day.
Did you know it was 2 weeks first?
No, I didn't know.
It was actually for 2 weeks.
Who changed it?
In America they changed it after some years. I think like in the 70s they changed it, and now it's for 1 month. Before it was for 2 weeks.
You know what? We're getting there. Hopefully we'll have Black history every day. And just to jump ahead, like speaking of Black history, it's one thing that in America, as you mentioned, in certain states, they're trying to basically whitewash certain aspects of it, so it's not being taught in schools.
And that's very bad, I believe. Yeah. That's not good.
And the thing is, if history isn't taught in schools, these kids grow up not knowing the facts and not understanding why they are the way they are, why they're doing certain microaggressions, why they say certain things, and innately they don't see it as racist because they have never been taught anything else. It's just that they weren't educated about it.
Yeah.
You know? But before we get into the meat of the matter, normally we have different segments, and we start out with the moral dilemma. Even though we'll be talking about this, we're trying to keep our segments going because I know certain people tune in for the segments, and we don't want to leave you in the dust.
Yes.
And the first segment is, if you follow us on Instagram and you subscribe to any of our platforms, you already know what the moral dilemma is. Chances are you've already commented on it or you already voted. So Tonniel never looks at the moral dilemma. I post them or Mariah posts them on the social media. So he never monitors them. So it's always an authentic reaction. So Tonniel, Today's moral dilemma. Jump right into it. I won't even ask you how your
Okay.
week is because today we also have a guest. And the guest,
Yeah, very special guest coming in today.
everyone that
Yeah,
sets
man.
foot into this living room is a special guest.
Definitely so.
And we appreciate him for being here. We won't say much about him as yet. I will leave it up to him to say everything that needs to be said and will be said. So, moral dilemma of this week is...
What do you have for me today?
So, we're back on the boats. I feel like Black history
again.
and boats.
Oh,
Black history
God.
and boats, they go hand in hand. Black history and
This
boats.
guy, why you keep putting me on a boat, David? I don't like boats. I don't like boats.
Black history and boats, they go hand in hand. So this time, the last time I think you decided to help the young people
and the family.
the families, right?
Yeah.
So this time, it's become more personal now.
Okay, let's
So
see.
the moral dilemma of this week is that you are on a passenger ship with your partner, your wife,
Yeah.
and your daughter. The ship is sinking, and there is one lifeboat left.
Yeah.
But the thing with the lifeboat is only 2 people can fit on the lifeboat, and there's 3 of you.
Yeah.
The person that doesn't get on this lifeboat will surely not make it.
Surely not.
They will not make it to see land again. The only land they will be seeing is up there or down there.
It's the promised land.
The promised land. The promised land. So that's the only land that they will see.
Yeah.
Who are you putting on this? Will you put yourself and your daughter, yourself and your wife,
Yeah.
your daughter and your wife? Who are you putting on this lifeboat? It's your decision.
All right. So first of all,
Yeah.
I want to ask a question. Can I ask a question?
Yeah. Ask a question.
How
The options are there.
How old is my daughter?
How old do you want your daughter to be?
No, you have to give me an age. Give me an age.
Your daughter is 12. Because if she was like 2 or so, she could fit in your hand, and let's say she's
That's what I was
a
about
teenager.
to ask.
She's a teenager.
So she's 12.
Yeah.
Oh my God, this guy keeps putting me on boats. Okay, so
You need to learn to swim.
I can't swim.
Still yet to be proven. Still yet to be proven.
So all right, a passenger boat, only 2 can fit.
Yeah.
Definitely, Davin. I would like to be on that boat for once in my life.
So
For once in my life, I'd love to be on that boat.
Where are you leaving?
But the thing is, I can't put myself on that boat.
You can't put yourself.
No, I can't put myself on that boat. If I put myself on that boat, I couldn't live with myself after, like knowing that I made the decision to leave a life behind.
Yeah, but someone will be left behind. Who will that be? Are you taking one for the family, letting your wife go?
Of course, I believe that my child will go on to change the world. My wife would would let my legacy live on, not just let me die there on the boat or in the sea, whatever.
Yeah.
So I would choose my daughter and my wife.
You put them on the boat and
I'd put them on the boat.
you die.
Yeah.
Proud of you, bro. Proud of you.
You better be.
Yeah. What if you found out that your wife was cheating on you?
Like the last time?
Yeah, like the last one. What if you found out she was cheating on you?
Again, I don't think I should be able to cut somebody's life short.
You're gonna cut your life short.
She doesn't deserve to go on the boat, I know. But Davian, I would go on the boat if that was the case.
If she cheats you, you would go on the boat. So that's contingent on her being a loyal wife.
Kinda.
So loyal wife go on the boat. All right.
Loyal wife is a wife. If you're not loyal, he's not a wife.
Facts.
Punto.
Facts. All right. I
And
don't...
please, Davian, can you stop putting me on boats?
Okay, the next one, you won't be on a boat. I'll put you in an airplane.
Wow, on an airplane, even worse.
Why?
Last night, I watched the movie of the Society of Snow, La Sociedad de la Nieve.
Oh, yeah.
With the movie with the guy, the Uruguayan guys.
Chilean mountain?
In the Andes, yeah, that got stuck.
I need to watch that movie. Is it good?
Wow.
Well,
Get ready.
Explain it a bit.
So these are some rugby players who decided to take a trip. They were going to Argentina, if I'm not mistaken, and they had to pass over the Andes mountains. But these mountains, they have something like a phenomenon that happens, that the warm air that rushes in from Argentina meets with the cold air that rushes in from Chile, and it kind of creates like a suction,
Clear as a whirlpool.
basically. And
What-
a lot of planes would like get lost in that region. So what happened? The warm air hit with the cold air, and it sucked them down, and their plane crashed.
Pause.
And and they had to live there for a long time,
In the snow.
before they got rescued. Yeah.
And they eventually got spoiled.
Yeah. This is no. This is a documentary.
Oh, it's a real story?
It's a real story. So it
So-
actually happened.
Hold on,
Actually happened.
Is it like it's said in like a movie or is it like a documentary?
It's like a movie. They put it
okay.
in the form of a movie.
So I'm.
Yeah,
Well,
you should watch it. I recommend it.
I know what I'll be
It's on
watching
Netflix.
tomorrow because on Sundays I normally like watching a good movie. And
Yeah, you turn on your Netflix tomorrow. It's there in the top 10 viewed for here in Spain, and it's a good watch. To
Is
be
it in
honest.
Spanish or English?
The original is in Spanish.
The original is in Spanish.
Yeah.
That's a bit weird though.
No, because it's in Uruguay. It actually happened in Uruguay.
Okay.
They even speak a different like type of Spanish.
Okay. I'll give it a watch.
Yeah,
I'll give
man.
it a chance.
It's worth it.
I'll give it a shot. I'll give it a shot. And after I watch that, I think play some football and stuff. Marcell is here with us. He normally comes to play some football
Yeah,
with
man,
us.
some ball game.
Marcell, the only other Jamaican diaspora person I've met in Spain outside of Tonniel. And Marcell will be popping in right now to share some views with us and, his experience in Spain. I feel like we needed someone outside of me and Tonniel so that it's not only
Not
us
only our point of views, yeah.
showing how it is to be a black man in Spain. Because Marcell, he lives in the UK, and because of that, he has a totally different experience growing up, experiencing what it's like to be black, as against what a Jamaican experience is, what it's like to be black growing up. So, everyone, round of applause. Welcome, Marcell. Welcome, if you're an audio listener, just take your hand off the steering wheel and just clap right now. Just take your hand off the steering wheel and just clap. Welcome, Marcell, and thank you so much for joining us, bro. You get up, brother!
No!
Yes, brother!
Sorry, Daniel.
Yeah, he's a relay runner.
We talked about this,
And he's
pass
getting
that baton to
Pass
me.
that baton. Don't take this out, Daniel. Leave it in there. Leave it in there. He's looking at me like, what are we doing now?
I thought I was doing something wrong. I was like,
You got the cue, bro. You got the cue. And you had it planned, and this is your first time as well. Yeah, we're not taking this out. We're leaving this in because that's just hilarious. That's just hilarious, man. That's just. He's looking at me. He's like, "Are we doing this?" I'm like,
it was a good intro as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
I was gassed. I was thinking,
yeah.
wow.
I laid the path. Tonniel just laid in the path. Oh my God. But that's a good start. That's a good start. You comfy?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good.
No,
I just
you look
adjusted
like
the
you're not
mic a little
comfy,
bit,
bro.
but-
Are you comfy?
Yeah, no, I'm good. I'm comfy.
All right, bro. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank
I
you for
appreciate it,
having
man.
me.
I appreciate it so much. As I said, big intro for Marcell. I think when did I meet you?
Well, this is interesting as well because I think it's been a long time, to be honest. Because
Yeah.
I remember meeting you. Because obviously I was very excited to meet a Jamaican, and we had gone on a bicycle ride with our friend Madge.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that was the first time when we rode up into the mountains.
This could have been 4 years ago, I think, or something like this. Because
No. This was because I moved back here. I think it was in 2020.
it was like exactly starting to get out after COVID.
When we had that restriction where we could go out in the evening. So that's when we were like, oh, we can only exercise in the evening. So let's
Go out, ride
ride the bikes. Yeah, that's when I met you, definitely.
And I also remember we were very unfit those times.
Oh my God,
I mean, we've been
bro.
playing football since then, but I remember getting up that hill.
It was hilarious because me and you are struggling and Mash is freaking up
Yeah,
there, and he's
Mash
at the
was
top looking down, laughing at us.
Gliding.
Oh my! And plus the bikes weren't good. The bikes weren't good at all as well because I had a really shitty bike because I just bought like a cheap bike just to be able to do that.
I think I got my bike from Cash Converters, so yeah, the same.
I got mine
Exactly
off
the
from a
same.
guy off the street. I paid him like 50 for it, and you know. It was a good experience. It was good meeting you, bro. And now, hopefully, I do feel like at times that we need to hang out more often. But with work schedules and shit, it's like adulting sucks.
Yeah.
You know.
I have to be honest as well. It's hard to get me out of the house these days, to be honest, man.
Yeah,
I'm at home, I'm chilling, you know.
Yeah,
I live with my girlfriend, and you know, so I'm just there.
Yeah, I have to drag him out. Like
Yeah, it's
sometimes
the
he
tough
gets a
one.
message from me and he's like, "Oh," you're probably like, "Oh, now I have to go out." Like I mean, he's like, when Devin messages me, he wants me to come out of the house.
But those are the type of people you appreciate, you know, the
Yeah.
ones who don't give up, you know, persevering, trying to get us antisocial people out.
No, I wouldn't say you're antisocial, bro. You're very easy to talk to. I would say you're more like you're comfortable being by yourself or being at home and just chilling. You don't need to go out to get that external stimulation. But at times I do see you take the effort to come out as well.
Yeah,
And I appreciate that as well.
And
But
we're out tonight.
We're out
So,
tonight. We're out
yeah.
tonight. We're out tonight taking in Fireboy, Little Lion Sound. First time going to a Jamaican event in Marcell, so I'm very skeptical. I'm very
Spanish
excited,
reggae experience.
anxious. I'm excited. I just want to be there already and see what it is like being around. Hopefully maybe we'll meet some other Jamaicans there. You never know.
I mean, yeah,
Maybe some will come out of the woodworks, you know, and
knows?
we'll meet some. But today, I'll definitely have you back on the show. That's set in stone already. But the main thing I want to focus on today is just if you could just tell me about your experience in Spain, what made you move to Spain, what made you decide to stay in Spain, especially after Brexit.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think in the UK, Spain is one of those places that's, you know, to us it's a little exotic. You know, you get lots of Brits coming out here on their holiday, you know, or on retirement or stuff. So me and my family, actually, we went to Spain a lot as a child. So anyway, you know, childhood, I was into it. I studied a little bit at school, even though the Spanish teaching in England is not up to standard. And then, yeah, boom, finished university, found myself in a position, had just gone through a big breakup, you know, that big breakup after university. Thinking what to do, kind of in a quarter life crisis, and I thought I did some job applications, and then I also found this you know, language assistant job that lots of us do in Spain. This was in Barcelona, and I think probably a similar time actually when you moved. I moved first time to Spain 2015, I think September 2015. And yeah, and then have been in and out of Spain ever since then. Lived in Murcia, in the city where we are now, for the last 5 years. So
What's the time frame for you in Barcelona?
just 1 year, the 1 year.
2015, 2016.
Exactly.
I was still in Jamaica at that point in time. I moved to Barcelona 2017, 2018, I think.
Nice. What were
Yeah.
you doing? Were you teaching?
No, I was actually just studying at that point in time, and I did do some online teaching, but I was primarily a student at that point.
Interesting. Because Barcelona was a bit of a madness then as well, because you had all the independence, you know, all of the Catalan stuff happening. No, the big vote and that.
The day that I moved to Barcelona was the day of the big protest.
No.
Literally the day that I was there, the police were on the streets just beating the shit out of people.
You thought it was for you.
Brother, as a black man, and I stepped out of the train, the city was empty. I didn't know what street to walk down. The city was empty, and then you just heard noise, and you see people running all over the place, and I'm there with my suitcases and stuff.
Man, oh my God.
And I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Because obviously, like, when you live in the southern Marcell, you hear about that stuff, but you don't see how serious it is. And it was a big issue in the city for the first month that I was there. Yeah. Like, I was there for a month, and the worst part is, there for a month, staying in an Airbnb, trying to find an apartment to rent, while all of this is going on in the city as well.
Yeah, you could have been living in a new country within a month, you know,
Yeah.
if the vote was successful.
Yeah,
Or,
it would have been. I think it would have probably led to a lot more serious action. And I would go on the street and I would see people protesting. I would be like walking through the city and I'll see protests on this street. I'm like, okay, now I have to walk 10 minutes to get around this because I don't want to be a part of it. This is none of my business. Like, I have no say in this.
But did that spoil your experience, or did you still get to
No.
appreciate?
It kind of died down after a while. It didn't limit my experience in Barcelona, I would say.
Because I loved it, man. That one
No.
year when I was there, yeah.
That's the thing with Barcelona. I love Barcelona, but I could never see myself having a family and settling down in Barcelona city, maybe on the outskirts and stuff like that.
Yes.
Because I lived right in the nitty gritty, right in the heart of it, bro. Like right next to the Ramblers, like 5 minutes walking from the Ramblers. So everything happens there. And for me, it was just hectic. When I would come to where we are now in Murcia, I don't know. Have you ever you've been to London, right?
Yeah.
And you've been to Murcia. Let's say you go to London and you spend 2 weeks in London, and then you come to Murcia for one day. You feel that the buzz of the city.
Yeah.
It's a different vibe. You just feel calmer. You feel like everything's quieter. That was the experience at Barcelona. It's just always busy, always buzzing. Things are always on the go. There's always something to do. You don't have to worry about it's Tuesday night. What am I gonna do tonight? There's always an event or something going on there. But Barcelona was actually I think I experienced I wouldn't say it's the first. Every city I've been in Spain, I think I've experienced some form of racial prejudice or something. But I remember one, now that we're talking about Barcelona, the first experience. I was living in an apartment in the Raval, and this is a notoriously, it's not the richest neighborhood in Barcelona. It's close to the Ramblers and all that stuff, but all the students live there. It's where you get the cheaper rental housing and stuff. And I lived in an apartment on the 4th floor. I have to tell you that because there was no elevator in this building, and I had to walk up the 4th floor. And in cities, you don't drink. One thing you don't do is you don't drink the tap water. You never drink the tap water in a city.
Only Madrid. Have you tried Madrid tap
No, I'm
water?
not drinking tap water anywhere.
Devane, I promise you, Madrid tap water is from heaven.
Yeah?
It's manna dripping. There we go. But it's oh man, I don't know how they get it. I don't know if they get it from the mountains or what. But if you're ever gonna try tap water, Madrid and in Scotland,
I've heard about the Scottish water, but
yeah. Only Madrid.
I would not drink the water in Barcelona. So what I would used to do is buy, instead of the 24 packs, which I would buy the 8-liter bottles of water.
Yes.
Because I literally had to go downstairs and buy an 8-liter bottle of water, and I would buy 2 of those because it was me and my girlfriend at the time. So 8 liters of water, that goes quickly when you're drinking water and stuff like that.
Heat as well.
Exactly. So I remember going downstairs in my sweats and slippers. Not even just your sweats, the stuff you wear around your house, because there was a little shop downstairs. I go downstairs, slippers.
That's very comfortable if you're living in El Raval, though, man.
Yeah.
Because that's your neighborhood now.
That's
a dangerous neighborhood.
It's a nice spot. It's a hot spot.
Yeah.
I go downstairs to the guy. He knows me. He knows I only buy water from him because he's the closest.
Yeah.
You pay €2 for two 8-liter bottle of water, and I had both waters in my hands, and I was walking less than 5 meters to get to my door to open it, and the cops come up.
No.
The cops come up and they come to me and it's like, show me your identification. I'm like, how am I looking suspicious right now?
Yeah.
How am I committing a freaking crime with 2 8-liter bottles of water in my flip-flops, in my sweats? How do I look suspicious?
Yeah, I can't, there's not a single thing incriminating there, What are you using the water for, Am
I attacking
I can't, that's what I mean, I can't imagine.
Literally, someone could have come up and robbed me because both my hands were full and I was struggling. You know that awkward moment when you get to your door and you're like, oh shit, now I have to find which pocket my keys are in. Right at my door. They stopped me.
So wait, you'd done the journey?
No, it's a 5 minute. It's not
the front door. No,
yeah, my front door.
Exactly.
Right at my front door, they see me, and they're like, "Show me your identification. What's your name? Where are you from?"
In English?
No, in Spanish. In Spanish. But and then I was like, obviously, I don't speak that much Spanish. I just gave them my bad Spanish, and then in Barcelona, the cops speak English. They speak English. Yeah. Then they're like, "Okay, no pasa nada. Where are you from?" And I'm like, I'm from Jamaica. They're like, oh, do you have ID? I'm like, yes, I have my ID, but it's upstairs in my apartment because I just came downstairs. He's like, okay, we need to see your ID. We need to see your ID. Show me your ID. Show me your ID. And he's saying, show me your ID. And I was like, it's upstairs. But luckily, I had my phone. I had my phone on me. I was like, I have a picture of it. Would you like to see a picture of my passport? And he looked at it. He looked at the passport and he's like, oh, so you're from Jamaica? I'm like, yeah, I'm from Jamaica. He's like, okay, no problem then. You can go. So obviously, he was looking for someone of a certain descent,
Yeah.
because in the Raval area, there is normally where a lot of Africans are and a lot of Moroccans as well are. So he's looking for,
Straight profiling.
straight,
I mean, they went straight for you. They saw you.
straight up profiling.
Yeah.
And I felt, when I went upstairs after I made my journey, I was like, did that just really happen? Like, how did he make sense of just seeing a guy in his sweats, in his flip-flops, with 2 8-liter bottles of water in both hands? How did he look suspicious?
Yeah. And I think part of the thing is that to them inconveniencing you, or even possibly causing you some harm psychologically, to them it doesn't matter. Do you know what I mean? Like, so that, a normal resident, let's say normal, like an older lady or something like that, for example, or an older man, they don't bother them because they don't want to inconvenience them, because they have the power to then say something back, but like, and I've got lots of similar stories to you, and I feel like to us it's that thing of like, what are we gonna do? Or am I gonna take their badge number and and report them, or am I gonna go through that effort?
They don't make it easy for us to do anything as well. Like, it's a situation is like, even if I do report it, someone's gonna look at it and it's just gonna be another file in another drawer.
Yeah.
Another 1,000 complaints. Then that's the next thing as well. I shouldn't have to feel like, I report this, and then this takes up the time where they should be actually focused on stopping real criminals.
For real, yeah.
Now I'm going to say, investigate this police officer. We shouldn't have to be set in a society where we have to. Obviously, we need stops and protocols to ensure that they are not corrupt, but obviously those don't work. These police officers should be spending that time to actually go after real criminals instead of profiling them. But you mentioned that you also had similar experiences. Have you had any such experiences in Spain?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I don't want to start in Murcia. So let's go back to Barcelona, because for me, I had, I guess, like the kind of warning signs. Because obviously Barcelona is like very metropolitan. You're going to meet a lot of people from different places there. So like there, actually, I felt a little bit less, let's say, discriminated against. But I mean, I remember, for example, my first year, it was we were language assistants, and it was me and 3 other girls, actually. So it was a huge school. And one of the girls, I think she's from a Ghanaian descent, and we were good friends at the time. And just walking out in the street the very first day, there was some old man, and he was saying "morenita, guapa," all of these things, which is, effectively saying, pretty brown skinned girl, hello, and I didn't speak Spanish at the time. Later, she explained to me kind of the things he had been saying to her. And, I don't know how she felt looking back. At the time, we were just like, well, here we are in Barcelona, this is crazy. But I think it's, in Spain, there's like a kind of a line between, there's always a line between joking and not joking, So that's one of the earliest things I remember. I also remember a lot in Barcelona, and this is another kind of Spanish thing, because going back to what you said, it's interesting in Spain that I think that it is a legal requirement to carry your ID, right? Like, I think it's a legal requirement.
It is.
Which for me is a lot anyway, let me live, let me exist.
In most countries, it's a legal requirement to carry your ID.
Is it the same back home in Jamaica?
It is legal, but it's not something that I think is enforced to the fullest extent.
Yeah,
but in most countries, you have to have some form of identification.
On your person,
on
right?
your person.
Okay, there we go. Well, but yeah, but still, it's still the manner of which they ask for it and stuff, But one thing that annoyed me a lot being in Barcelona is that I would go into the big stores, the big kind of department stores they have here, Corte Inglés or Fnac, one of these bigger kind of media. And, if I had a backpack, it was always... I'd feel there we go.
Oh,
there we go. You already know. I'd feel an arm here, I feel an arm on my shoulder, arm on my elbow.
Bro.
I'd turn around, because, me being British, I don't really like being touched or people, getting, you know what I mean? So, like, anyway, I'd feel that, there'd be a kind of security guard explaining how it's necessary to lock your stuff up, you know, and you'd be seeing other people float by with, you know, all kind of storage equipment.
Sometimes
you
I
know?
see people with with the trolleys
Yes,
that they have
absolutely.
and
Yeah,
everything,
yeah.
and I'm like, that has happened to me in the city as well, bro.
Yeah, I can believe it because it happened to me 2 or 3 times in Barcelona. Obviously, the first time it was completely new to me, so I was like, I thought I was just being profiled straight up, you know.
Yeah,
so
because everyone else in there has their
Yeah.
backpacks. Everyone else in there has a big handbag.
yeah, you know, like people follow the rules to a degree, you know. Like some people, yes, they lock their bags up, but especially young people, the majority of people, you got a small sports backpack. You just quickly grab your stuff, but that kind of lives with me to this day. When I go to a supermarket, I'm very careful to like have a look. I normally show them because I take my backpack everywhere. You know, I don't know a backpacker, but like, you know, I always, I don't tell them that I'm showing them my backpack, but you know, at the till, I will lean forward when I'm putting the stuff. You know, I don't want to get a plastic bag.
You shouldn't have to.
I
do
know,
that, bro.
I know.
This is exactly like people are gonna be like, well, you shouldn't be having your backpack. Look at the effect it has had on you, where you are self-correcting. You're overcompensating to prove, oh, I'm not guilty of a crime. I'm not doing anything. I'm just trying to be a normal human being. This is the problem, man.
But that's our
This is the
existence to some degree.
It is the existence. It is the problem because, as you said, like now every time you go in, you have that in the back of your mind. Imagine like going to pick up your groceries should not be something that you're worrying about racial issues or being profiled. Like you should just be able to go get your milk and get your bread and get out of there without thinking, oh, the security guard is following me around. A lot of people that aren't black, they don't understand that this is what we face when we mention like these microaggressions, the racism and stuff. It is a tiny thing, but it has an impact on your psyche, on your mental health.
Always a consideration.
Exactly.
Always.
And to backtrack on what you're saying about the women, I'm really so sorry, guys, that we don't have a woman here today. But I can share from stories from my female friends what they've told me, like the black ones. Every time they go out in the street in Spain here, they feel like the old men are looking at them, are staring at them. And, you know, in the beginning, this is me, my opinion, I felt like, oh, no way, it's just normal. Like, they, you know, it's because you're an attractive woman. That's the reason why they're looking at you. Yeah. But that's not the reason. The reason they're looking at them is because they're black. And the fact that they're attractive, now they feel like they're more entitled to be able to say these derogatory things to them. Yeah, exactly. And they feel like, oh, because she's black, you know, she's used to it. She can handle it. Yeah. She doesn't have the same privilege as a woman of a different complexion.
They know there's very little consequence. You know, what's she gonna do?
Yeah.
Call the police.
Yeah.
You know, like,
they'll get away with it. They'll get away with slapping her on her ass easier than if they slap a white woman on their ass.
Yeah. And I mean, we hate all slapping of asses.
Oh, we hate. But I'm just saying, like,
no, for real.
If a man is gonna commit a crime, he's gonna commit a crime that he has a better chance of getting away with.
That's the thing, yeah, and that's it. And that's the thing. We are given more. We have more psychological considerations and less recourse to do anything at the same time. So I mean, as a woman, as a black woman, I can't imagine. I don't want to plug another podcast, but I don't know if you guys.
No, you can plug any podcast.
Yeah,
I watch a lot.
There's a good Spanish podcast called No Hay Negros in Tibet. Have you heard of this?
No, I haven't heard of it.
Yeah, so it's Frank T. He's like an old school rapper. They're all Spanish people of largely West African descent, I think. And it's 3 kind of media personalities who are black, and they just share their experiences because they've been here since they were like 2-3 years old. And but it's just a great podcast to listen to kind of further
check them out, guys. Like, check them out. No Hay Tibet.
It's one of those.
Is it in Spanish?
It's in Spanish, but it's, you know, it's, if you're an intermediate Spanish learner, Spanish speaker, I would recommend it. And for me, it felt very validating to listen to it. You know, it felt very good to hear someone. Hopefully, people will listen to this maybe who are also, you know, and know that other people are experiencing the things, you know, that we're experiencing. So that's just a good little recommendation.
That's one of the things. Like, this episode, I don't want it just to only be for black people. I hope that some other people have decided to stay and actually listen so they can see and somewhat feel about what we experience. Like, because it's, as I mentioned with the women, like, if I can, when she was telling me this stuff, it took time for me to basically realize it, like, get to that. And I feel like it's a lot of the cases with white people. It takes time for them to hear it and get educated about it, for them to come to the realization that this is a problem. And we as human beings, it takes time for us to adjust and say, oh, this is really a problem. And then there's the other issue in Spain where the black population is so small, where things go basically under the radar. In America, the black population has a big voice right now.
Yeah.
They have a big voice because of social media, and also the fact that the percentage of even though they're a minority, there are over 10%. In Spain, I believe it's under 2%. In Europe on a whole, it's under 5%, the amount of black people that are here. So with that said, we don't have a lot of voice here. Yeah, no, one key thing that we don't have a voice with is the Conquitos.
Let me tell you something.
The Conquitos.
Let me tell you something.
The Conquitos.
I love.
No, I'm just gonna project there.
Let me tell you, I love peanut coated chocolate as well. For me, man. You know, peanut M&Ms, whatever, plenty of brands available. But I came here and I was like, look, I want something like that, you know. And then I saw the packet, and I just thought,
my God.
you know. So yeah, I mean, any non-Spanish listeners, Conquitos, the front of so they're chocolate covered peanuts.
They're seeing it on the screen.
If
you're an audio
we're gonna
listener,
show it now. Okay, there we go.
Go to the YouTube with this timestamp, and you'll be seeing what's on the Conquitos.
Unbelievable.
It's literally called Little Congolese, and it has, as you can see, it's a black caricature of what they think black people look with red lips, with a big belly.
This brings me perfectly to my absolute worst Barcelona story. So I've given you because it was funny the way it happened, you know, because we got these little tastes of the racism. Mm-hmm. But here we are. The
main course.
Yeah,
the main course.
We had the starter. But here comes the main course. So So we've actually finished our school year now. It's June or May, something like this now. We're at the end of term talent show or the end of term presentation. So lots of the younger students are getting up doing, whatever, singing, acting. And some of the older students, here we call it bachiller, and 16, 17-year-olds, final years of high school. Two of the boys... Well, how can I start this so you don't get it too soon? But two of the boys decided to perform "It's Raining Men," which, if you know the song, obviously a song sung by a black group in the US.
Yeah.
They came out to the stage, Blackface, of course. No question, no pictures. I was nearly crying. Blackface, of course, afros. Smeared, red lipstick to make their lips look huge, stuffed tummies with, whatever thing to make them look pregnant, and stuffed booties.
To make them look malnourished.
Well, or malnourished, maybe, I guess that's another. I interpreted it as kind of like, Africans are always having kids. That's how I interpret it. But you might be right. Choose your racist trope, right? Choose your racist
Pick
trope.
one or another.
And honestly, and I think the worst thing is that like the entire school were in this hall with me, and obviously my colleagues were there with me. My Ghanaian friend actually had already left. So it was me and other non-black people, and, rapturous applause, man. Like that was the thing, all of the teachers, all of the students laughing, and it was one of the most surreal experiences of my life, because I didn't really have anyone to complain to, I was leaving the next week and everyone was clapping, I was looking around maybe for the more liberal teachers thinking, is anyone?
All right. That's
madness. So,
okay. Let's analyze the situation in the context of the world, right? If that was to happen in America, that entire school would probably be shut down based on the social uproar. If it was to happen in the UK, everyone would be fired.
Yeah.
Everyone would be basically ostracized, cancelled. But in Spain, they see that as, we're doing it as fun. This is our culture. Culture is not an excuse for racism. Culture is not an excuse for racism. If you have a racist culture, you can change it. Culture is, when I learned what culture is, it's the way of life of people. I learned this in school. Culture is the way of life in people. But culture is also dynamic.
Yes.
So it changes with the times. And I feel this is one part of the culture that needs to change in the time. This blackface thing that you see here, we're not for it. We don't find it funny, amusing. We find it insulting. And even though at times you might not see people crying externally, it is painful to see, and we feel it deep within.
Yeah,
It is a mockery of us. And when we see it, don't come up to us and be like, "Oh, I did this. I was you." Because I have a story for that as well.
Here we go. Of course, that's what
I
I mean. Once you open
have a
Pandora's
fucking
box,
story of that as well. Because I remember here, the three kings, right?
Yes,
Three kings,
yes.
Balthazar. I don't even know the other two ones because the kids only like Balthazar.
Yeah, Melchior
And
Jasper. There we go.
Three kings, the three wise men, or whatever. The kids only like. The favorite is Balthazar, the black one.
I don't even know. Maybe. Yeah,
No,
I don't
he's the
even
favorite.
know. Yeah.
He's the favorite because I have been asked to be Balthazar a couple of times, and I have pictures of it. Daniel, don't put those pictures. I've been asked to be Balthazar a couple of times, and I've done it. And I felt at first I was like, you know what? I'd rather do it than see a guy in a blackface do it.
Just
right?
taking the bullet.
Yeah, no, I rather
for
a
the
black
rest of
person do
us.
it because what's the good of a black person do it? And you know what? Once I did it, and I was giving these kids the toys. Plus, it's for the kids as well, man. You give them the toys, they're happy to see a black person because they don't really see black people here that much. They see a black person and they get the kids and they get their toys and they're happy and they run off to their parents. But after I gave out these toys to these kids, one of the guys came up to me and he's like, "Oh, before you got here, I was Balthazar," and he's showing me all the black paint down, and he's like, "Oh, look at my picture."
You took the guy's job away from him. Yeah. Is that what it was? He's on the paro. He's on the Spanish social system now. Coming over here, Devane.
You know what? That job bought me a nice pair of sneakers. But he was coming. He wasn't angry. Yeah, he was trying to connect. He's like, I was Balthazar before because we couldn't find a black person, but I just decided to put the paint on my face and my lips. Look at this picture. Can you take a picture with me? I'm so sorry I took it off. And I'm like, bro, that's not right. And in the beginning, when I just moved there and I was like, oh, I'm adjusting to see what happens in this culture. Normally, I would just walk away and just like, I don't speak.
Yeah.
But I realized that I'd rather take the time to educate that one person and say, this is not right. This is not cool. This is how we feel about it.
Because a lot of people are there to listen as well. That's the thing. We don't want to be, too like, we believe culture can change.
Yeah.
And, we're not attacking anyone, right? Like,
we're not being dismissive or angry. But at times, as a black person, like, our first reaction is because it's so traumatic, we get that hit right here. And then we are like, okay, let's process this. Is this one that I can talk to and see if I can make some change? Or is this one that is just too far gone? Because there are some people that are too far gone and you can hear that they're not open to it as well. But the ones that ask questions, I'm happy to answer your questions.
Yeah.
Even the dumb ones.
Yeah.
Even the dumb ones.
Exactly. Yeah.
Even the dumb ones, because at least I will get you to stop saying the N-word. Even though you feel like you should be able to say it, I'll get you to stop saying nigga.
Yeah.
I will get you to tell your friend, oh, I talked to this black guy and he wasn't happy with it, so we shouldn't do that. Yeah, and it spreads the word because I've been in Spanish social settings. Another thing with N-word as well. Here,
I have a story too.
Yeah. N-word. They don't. It's. I grew up in Jamaica, saying nigga and stuff like that. It doesn't hit us the same as it would hit an American or a British person. Because as I said, I grew up in a culture where I'm the majority. I'm black.
See, this is an interesting difference as well.
I'm the majority. So I'm not used to white people calling me a nigger or saying nigger in a song or anything. I'm used to me and my friends using it. And we don't even use that word in Jamaican culture. It's like when we're like singing a rap song, mainly we'll use that word. Yeah. It's not a day in our vocabulary. I would not call you my nigga. I would say you're my dog.
Yeah, exactly.
You're you're my brother. You're my bro. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're the boss. You're the general. You're the boss. You're the general. I wouldn't say I'm a nigga or something like that.
And even in the UK, I mean, that's a very American phenomenon.
Yeah, it is very American, but it translates down to us because we are also black. So when we go into these countries and they use these words, all that American culture and the negativity associated with it, we feel it as well.
Yeah, exactly.
So I've even been on a date with a girl. I'm on a date with a girl, and a rap song comes on, and she's singing it. And she sings it line for line.
Yeah. There's no...
And I'm like, oh, don't say that word. She's like, why? What's wrong? It's a song. I'm like, it's a song, but it has a negative connotation, and it does not make me feel good when you say it. And I'm explaining to her. So she's like, so why can't I say nigga? Like, I'm literally saying you can't say the word, and you're saying it back to me.
But there's zero understanding of
No.
it. There's zero. You know, they
No.
don't even.
It just doesn't register.
Yeah.
It doesn't register that
At all.
That they're like, it's just a word, but words are powerful. As a podcaster, words are powerful, and they can cause serious harm. Because the moment she said that, because we were there having a great time, I was like, this night is gonna go banging. It's gonna be a banging night. I'm gonna have a great time. I'm like, yes, she's enjoying herself. She's dancing. I'm like, yes.
Too comfortable.
We
That was the problem.
No, we already finished dinner. We're at having the dinner, having the drink. We're having a great fucking time. And she says this, and immediately I went from this to this.
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? I think we should go. I'll drop you home.
Yeah, man.
But I did explain it to her, and luckily she was one of those that she apologized and she said, oh, I didn't know, and from now on I will just not say it. And it happens from time to time. They feel like, oh, it's just a word. It's not just a word, guys. It's a word that causes severe harm emotionally to a person. Now we're in a society of mental and emotional we're taking those into consideration.
Exactly,
yeah. So this is another part of it, like the damage that the word does to someone. The thing is, we can't even quantify it.
Yeah. I mean, I'll be honest. I mean, it's a bit corny, but the moment I hear the word, especially, the hard R equivalent.
Oh,
man, I genuinely hear, a whip crack, or I imagine, honestly,
you feel it across your back.
I do. I imagine these things,
It's the same, like when we say, like, we feel our ancestors.
Yeah,
we feel our ancestors with that one as well.
And I guess, like, the thing is like, we've got, like you say, you've got the Jamaican experience, I've got the British experience. We do have to look at it differently in Spain. Like, and it's interesting talking about culture in Spain. And I think about this a lot. And I mean, we all live in Spain. Spain's given us a home. And there's great things about Spain, right? I'm sure we can agree.
Oh, I love Spain,
Yeah,
bro.
yeah.
Spain is a great country.
And
like,
Spanish
I have
people, yeah.
Spanish. I love Spain.
However.
But, yeah.
Yeah, when you think about culture, you think about, broadly, you think about a lot of European countries, the UK, Germany, France. They're countries that have really engaged with their past, and they've had lots of in the UK, we've had lots and lots of conversations about race. Luckily for me, I didn't go through the hard times in the UK. That was, our elders, that was, and we had that conversation. Whereas in Spain, their culture is interesting because they have a fantastic culture, food, they have fantastic, literature, but it's like a monoculture Spain. It hasn't had too much interaction with their colonies in the actual country, So like, it's really difficult to try and explain, actually, as a person of, let's say, sub-Saharan African descent like us, because they're still being racist to Gypsy people and to Latinos, and like, they're still being racist to Moroccans, and those people are people who have more history still with Spain, than us. So I feel like here there are so many conversations to be had.
Yeah.
And that's the sad thing. And obviously, me being me as well, obviously I'm quite light-skinned, I'm quite ambiguous. So
they would think you're more Moroccan, and
Precisely.
I think it's even worse for them to think you're Moroccan.
Well, so like, living where we live, and I live now in El Carmen here, which is a very vibrant immigrant neighborhood, and actually I live exactly where there's probably the highest concentration of West Africans. Actually, I wanted to talk about your haircut because you were looking for a new barber, and I nearly told you, but it looks fresh still anyway. But yeah, because of that, what was I going to say? Sorry, I forgot. Speaking about, like, the fact that there are, let's say I'm racially ambiguous now. So, like, recently in El Carmen, I was going for a run and I got stopped by the police. Now, and normally I'm pretty cooperative, and I was cooperative. I didn't have a choice, but this one,
yeah, you know.
Yeah, this time I was running. I had a small little backpack. Clearly going for a run. So that's the most important thing, probably. Very evidently running. But like, police officer, clearly something had happened in the area, just like the block. There were a few police around, but the guy stopped me, barely looked me in the face, to be honest. Just kind of put his hand out towards me. So I was like, okay,
no eye contact.
Cooperate, barely, honestly, barely. And I can't remember. He just said, "You're going for a run," and I did my best to stifle the sarcasm. You know, I was like, "Yeah, you know, see." And the guy kind of just touched my bag, gave it a quick. He said, "You not got anything in there?" And I was like, "No," you know. And then no conversation whatsoever. And then he was just like, "Yeah, go." And honestly, that was for me, that was the most violated I think that I felt, because especially, I don't know how the police are back home in Jamaica, but in the UK, our police have been through so much sensitivity training, you know, so much community training. They always explain to you what they can do, what they can't do. Don't get me wrong, the British police are not perfect, but, you know, I'm used to being treated like a citizen, you know, but in Spain, literally this guy I'm sure that must have been an illegal search under EU law or whatever, you feel me?
Definitely.
You know, all these things, and, you know, what am I going to say to the guy, you know? So, like, but at that time, do you know what it was, actually? The get out free card was, "I'm English." That's what it was.
No, we get away.
Donde eres? Where are you from? You know, and I was, you know, "I'm English."
The moment you say you're not from Africa or Morocco,
precisely, then that's your card. That's your.
That I think we're lucky with that to an extent. I don't even know if it's luck. Like, I didn't choose where I was born.
No.
Yeah, but the fact that they look down on the Moroccans and the Africans so much, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I'm not racist against all black people. I just pick and choose which ones I'm racist to. Which I don't even know if that's even better or worse. Like, I don't even know. I don't even know what to say about it. But I think Tonniel has some questions for you, Marcell.
Okay.
So I think we've been chatting enough. We've been eating enough.
It's
time.
a big topic.
You have no questions,
it's a big topic, you know.
You have asked everything. Well, if you don't want to say anything, I
mean, I've got more stories.
I do have some more questions, but with the time, I was like, Tonniel probably has some. He's sitting there. He probably wants.
But he's been agreeing from behind the scenes. He's
Yeah.
been engaged. Hopefully, people will
Yeah,
feel it as well.
Okay, man. So now you've decided to stay in Spain, right?
Yes.
And this is where your life is. This is where you live with your girlfriend.
Well, honestly, for the moment.
For the moment. I'm speaking about now, like, at least for the next year, you'll be here.
Exactly.
You'll be here, right? Do you think that there will be ever an instance in Spain where they change from these issues and change from these matters? Like, you think, like, the black population, like, for years, people have been trying to change the Conquito logo.
Yeah.
And speaking of that, going back to that Conquito thing, so you know what they did? They made a white one.
Yeah, they did, for real.
But you know what it is? That is telling me that the marketing person is racist, because they made a white one with red lips. So what? An albino. An albino is a black man. A lot of people don't know that albinos are black people.
Yeah.
So basically, they said the little Congolese albino.
I mean, I never thought about it that
It
way.
is.
I mean,
Like, I saw both of them side by side. I'm like, okay, so you took off that. And normally, because have you ever met an albino?
Actually, no. But I imagine in Jamaica, maybe.
Yeah,
you guys,
we have a few.
Yeah.
We have a few. So I've seen them, and they basically, the character is just a caricature of an albino.
Oh man, that's terrible.
So, and they keep not doing anything, because even yesterday, because I knew this would come up in our conversation, I went on their Instagram, and every time they post one of those pictures with it, someone comments and saying this is racist, and then there is always someone saying this is Spanish culture.
I can't go on Instagram. I can't do it. I can't watch because actually one of the biggest, I would say, memes that like really annoys Spanish people who are, well, again, like I say, I like Spanish people. I don't want to keep saying Spanish people, you know, like this. But what they really hate at the moment is this Netflix drive for diversity. You know, like
the cookie cutters, like
yeah, they hate it so much. And don't get me wrong, like as black people, as people of color, sometimes we feel offended when they give us some random characters, like this person should be black, and they could completely strip you of your context. You know, not everyone's in favor of this, but like, you'll always see on Instagram, on the comments, you know, Spanish people saying, ¿Qué pasa? You know, what about the Little Mermaid being black, you know, or stuff like this. And you'll be like, you know, it's just, we're just trying to be a little bit nice to people, you know, we're just trying to let black kids dream a little bit, you know, but they get so angry about it.
Because they have this vision of black people in their head where it's totally the reflection of this Conquitos thing, where they're big-bellied, bald kids running around laughing.
Yeah. It's
That's
true.
that's their entire vision, and they don't realize that this imagery is what their children sees, and their children grow up to think that this is the representation of them. Like black people aren't more than what they're reduced to.
Yeah, either that or the threatening American black guy. No, like
Oh,
they
the
would use
angry,
the N-word.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
And a lot of the times they'll be like, "Oh, well, there's more racism in America than in Europe." I'm like,
that's the
worst. That's the worst. That's not the
That's
case.
the worst.
It's just that in America, people get called out more for it, so it's more publicized. Here, there's no voice for it because the population is so little, and whenever someone speaks up, because it's so subdued, like the Spanish population and the white population here is like 85%. 85%. Yeah. And of that 85%, that will stifle out whatever 2% is saying.
Yeah, precisely.
If 2% are posting on Instagram, Instagram is going to show the majority that's posting.
And I think it's also like demonstrating to people like that, because here in Spain, like I would say like there's what they tell you is that there's more of a tolerance for name calling or something like this. Everybody makes fun of everybody, you know. That's what they kind of say. Like here we take life easy, we laugh, we don't take things so seriously. But then also what I often try to tell people is, okay, but then what are the life outcomes for someone who's come here, maybe from one of your old colonies, you know, or someone from a gypsy, you know, background who's been here all their life, you know, like it's okay name calling, but then what are their life? Because, you know, in the UK, in the US, you have these metrics, these statistics to really say to people, it's more than name calling. It's more than, you know, a cultural issue.
It has an adverse effect. Like when this person goes to seek a job as well, the entire interviewer's perception of that person is like based on their imagery.
Yeah.
And I speaking of jobs as well, like I work in the job market sector, where I see managers reject people because even their names.
I mean, I haven't got any of the data, but I mean, back home, there's so much data on that. You have a kind of Muslim sounding name, you know, Arabic name,
Indian sounding name.
Game over.
They will literally be like, yep. Let's go with this candidate, but this one looks on paper is the same as even more qualified. Yeah, but you know, I don't think he's a cultural fit for the organization.
And that might even be subconscious as well, though. You know, they're just like, something's not, you know, like,
no, they don't realize that they're doing it, man. Like it's because we have prejudice. Like personally, I feel like I have prejudices as well. Like, and I'm trying to deal with them. And when I have my prejudices, sometimes when I realize, I'm like, oh shit, that was wrong of me to assume that of that person. Maybe I should take a deeper look inside. But in the moment, I didn't realize that I was doing it.
Yeah,
it was just a subconscious thing, mainly because I wasn't educated on it, and that's not an excuse for me to be prejudiced. And I think everyone has instances of it. That's why I'm comfortable saying
this is
that.
what's important.
Yeah,
because,
dealing with it and moving beyond that point.
Yeah,
you know, realizing that I assumed this about this person, but clearly I was wrong. Yeah. I apologize to the person and make a change so the next time it doesn't happen again. It doesn't take that much to try and instill that personal change. I'm not asking, you know what, anyone listening right now, and if you feel offended by anything we're saying right now, you need to look inwards. You need to look inwards. If you feel like some of the stuff we were saying connects with you as well, comment some of your stories and share them. And just let us know exactly what you're going through, especially if you live in Spain. I think we need to connect more with our Black culture in Spain and see if we can reach out, because I don't feel like we have that real brotherhood. I'm in a few WhatsApp groups and stuff, but I think our voices need to be heard a lot more. Let's see. You know what? It would be great if our podcast is what changes that Conquitos logo.
Imagine.
No, because I don't see most of their products now don't even have the logo on it, but
really?
They still maintain those logos because it's their culture. And it's not
tradition, exactly.
And to be honest, like Mr. CEO, if you're watching this, I can't say it in Spanish, I'm sorry, but I'm sure you're a CEO level, you have someone that can translate this to you. Please just change it. If you change it, it would be good for your marketing. Change it, make a statement. If you don't want to do it because of personal reason, do it for financial reason. The moment you change it, more Black people will feel comfortable buying it. And the fact that you made a change, it will show that your organization is striving towards something. And even the Spanish people that thinks it's racist will start liking your products because they, as Marcell says, he likes these kind of chocolate.
I love that stuff.
But I'll put you onto one. The one, you know what? Instead of buying that, in the meantime, let's boycott Conquitos. We're boycotting Conquitos. If I see you buying one, I didn't even. You know what? I haven't
touched them. I had them at the beginning, but then
I was gonna buy one just to show it, and I'm like, what? He's still making money. I'd rather just put the picture here.
And we can't steal it because then we'll be confirming some stereotypes. There we go.
Well, if you steal it, you won't make it out of the store. We've come to that conclusion.
Behind bars.
We've come to this. But let's boycott Conquitos.
I'm here
I feel like
I have been unofficially.
Let's hit their
anyway,
pockets.
So,
Let's hit their pockets. Like, even if it's 10 of us, who probably won't hit their pockets, but we're doing something. And good substitute is the Mercadona ones. The Hacendado. I'm not sure anything about the politics of Mercadona and stuff. I just like this one, and they don't have a racist logo on it.
That suits me as well. Yeah.
You like those on? It's just a chocolate.
I go to Sangui, I think, for them, but yeah.
Go to the Mercadona ones will have. You would miss your January resolutions if you eat those Mercadona ones. But the time is coming up, bro. But I really appreciate you for coming. I'm pretty sure we'll have you back on. Tonight we're going to this Jamaican event. We'll be getting some content there. I love your input on that as well. I feel like being able to speak to another black person, as I said, the population here is low, and we connect on a different level. When we speak on a different level. That's the thing. Different wavelength. Like there's a different feel to it. And
the stories just flow. That's the thing, is just like having a place to let these things that you've squirreled away in your head to let them actually come out and say it and heal a little bit, to be honest.
You need to be around your own kind at times to just talk about these things. And I'm sure hopefully the non-black audience that's watching now, I know it's been a bit heavy and we've been sharing some stuff, but this is what we're going through. This is the fact, guys. And if this is the episode that makes you stop following us, that says everything about you as well. If this is the episode that makes you recommend us and subscribe, that says a lot as well. And we appreciate that. Like, don't be the person that is scared to hear about the struggles that other people are facing in society, because you ignore them doesn't mean they don't exist. Doesn't mean that there aren't people suffering.
Yeah, and it's not a lecture, is it? That's what I mean. It's simply just our day to day. Like we're not making it up. I don't want anything. I just want to be left alone more than anything.
He just wants to walk in a supermarket with his backpack without having to worry that he's being watched.
For real. And I mean, the funny thing is, like, obviously we're drawing to a close, but honestly that was probably 50% of the stories, or a fraction of the stories, because there are always instances of these things.
I have stories. Every time I get on a plane in Europe, I get searched.
Random.
It can only be random so many times. It can only be random so many times. And I don't think I look that intimidating, but
have you had I don't even know what they are. Like last time I went, I had I don't know if it was some special drug thing, but they were putting all this kind of tape, swabs and all kind of. It's like te toca.
Oh, so you were random as well. So me random, you random.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
The algorithm.
How that's working. How convenient. I have a weird story about that one as well. Like, I have to tell this story, like, guys. So this was actually back in Jamaica. This is why I'm sharing this story as well, so that they don't think it only happens in Spain.
Interesting. So
this was back in Jamaica. I was dropping off my girlfriend at the time at the airport. She had come to visit me, right? And I was at the airport, and I'm standing in line with her just so she can go through, where she gets her ticket before she even goes through security.
You're
I'm just standing
public space almost.
When you go into an airport, before you go through security, everyone is allowed there. And you go up to the desk, and we're waiting in line. She has her hand on her suitcase. I just have my backpack because I'm just going to head home right after this. The guy comes up to me and calls me out of line and says, "You've been selected for a random search." I'm like, I'm not even traveling, bro.
That's what I'm saying, man.
You've been selected.
They'll get you.
Random search. And I told him, "Oh, I'm not traveling." And he's like, "Who's traveling?" I'm like, "She's traveling." He's like, "Okay, no problem." And he walks off.
Wow.
But, it's what we go through. Random searches, all that stuff, the stereotyping. We make fun and jokes about it at times, but it's a serious issue. These microaggressions. I've seen people cry because they've been treated this way and they get hurt by it.
Yeah, and they're not offended in that instance. It's a build up, right? That's the
Yeah.
thing. Like people see it and they think, how
Yeah.
sensitive,
Mm-hmm.
how weak. That's that is the tipping point for a lot of people, unfortunately. If
Yeah.
you see someone,
It's the last straw. Like imagine you getting searched like 5 times throughout your life. The first few times you'll be like, okay, no problem. But if it keeps happening and happening and happening, when do you just have a breakdown?
I just want
When do you release all the emotions and the feelings that are connected with that?
So yeah, definitely not to end on a low, but yeah, there you
No,
go.
it's a fact.
It's a fact.
Yeah. All right. I think Tonniel wants his seat back.
Oh,
Taking
man.
up his time.
He was taking a minute to budge.
Yeah.
So
Maybe you should just get comfortable.
But it's been a pleasure, and I love
Thank you,
listening.
man. Thank you for joining me.
Thanks for having me, guys.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you. Yeah, Tony, that's your cue now. You can switch seat. That's your cue now. Welcome back, my brother.
Yeah, it feels good to be back. Wow,
Yeah.
Marcell.
Marcell kept the seat warm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I had my seat warm over there because I was sweating. I was like, wow, like everything you guys said,
Yeah.
like I felt every word that you guys said. My blood was I was boiling over there just now, to be very honest.
Yeah. But I feel like do you have any stories as well? Like, because I want the people to hear from you as well. Because, as I said, we're not random checks.
No, this is never random.
And you have a different perspective as well, because you have dreads. So you're visibly representing the kind of culture that Babylon's against.
Yeah, I have a lot to unpack, honestly. I'll try to unpack the things that like I remember what you guys said. So you remember that story you told about you being in Barcelona and the guy realizing that you were Jamaican, and then he just let you go?
Yeah.
I've had that before, but in like different instances, like interactions with people. For example, there was this one day when I went into Carrefour. This was in Madrid. Again, like somebody, like I was trying to say something to somebody in the store. Like at that time when I just got here in Spain, like I didn't speak much Spanish, so my Spanish wasn't the best, and I would like try to ask for help sometimes, but people would just like walk away from you. They'd be thinking like you're trying to. I don't know what they're thinking. They would like just walk away from you. So, this one person listened to me, and I was like talking to them, but they had this face, like kind of skeptical face, and then they finally got their wish and they asked me, where you from? I said, I'm from Jamaica. Light up. Their face just changed. It's amazing. Like, what if I was from Guinea-Bissau,
Ghana,
or
Ethiopia.
Nigeria?
Yeah, it
would be a different reaction.
100%, brother.
I don't like that.
I don't
like that. Another thing that you guys said, that really hit me, because everything that you guys said really hit me. Another thing that you said was with the police. I've had an encounter with the police that I will never forget. Never.
See, it stays with you forever.
It stays with you forever.
You know how many people go through their lives never having been stopped by police? And we are what? We're not even halfway through our lives yet, and we've been stopped multiple times by police. If you have never been stopped by police on the street, you're lucky.
You're lucky. And as Marcell was saying, one thing with like going, I'll get to the police story after this.
Yeah.
Like one thing with going into these stores, for example, with the bag checking. Like almost every time when I used to be in Madrid and I would go into Mercadona, Carrefour, Al Campo, like it doesn't matter which store you go in, and you go in with a backpack, there'd be the security guard behind you.
Doesn't he realize he's black? He's not allowed.
It must be,
He's not allowed with a black backpack. It's only for the VIP guests. It's the VIP shoppers.
It must be. You just always feel this eye looking at you, what you're taking up, what you're buying, and you just, in the end, you have this thing in the back of your head. Like right now, I have this thing in the back of my head. Like my hands should be in a place where it can always be seen by somebody. Like it stays with me.
Yeah.
It doesn't leave me. Every store I go into, every food store, every clothes store, it just stays with me.
Yeah.
It's not something that's really pleasing, like going into a store, just going about your day, and you have to deal with this. It actually causes a bit of stress.
Self-correction and explaining yourself without explaining yourself.
Exactly.
You want to be like, there is this Patrice O'Neill. I don't know if you've heard. He's a comedian where he has this joke about being black, where it's like, everywhere I go, I try to get a receipt of it, because that receipt is my alibi to say that I wasn't the black guy in that area. So if he goes shopping, he has to get his receipt. That's the only reason he takes receipt, so he can prove that he was here throughout the day. And he would go and buy something just to keep track of where he is, so that he's not that bad guy that is the armed suspect or whatever suspect that he is. And he makes it into a very funny joke. Check out his comedy.
That's
it's
trauma.
Very funny.
That's
trauma.
trauma.
That all comes from the trauma of it, bro.
It definitely does. Yeah. Back to this experience with me and the police. So as you guys know, in Madrid, it's like a different context. Versus here in Murcia, it's more metropolitan. There's more people, you know, so they need more control and stuff like that. The police. And I'll point out one thing that I don't really see anywhere else in the world, like the body cam issue. The police here, they wear no body cams,
They don't have body cams here.
and at the same time, it's illegal to record them.
Oh,
What is that saying?
Here it's
What exactly is that saying? It's like saying you're on my field now.
Yeah.
I'm the boss here.
Yeah. Sometimes when you see those videos in America recording the police, like if you do that here, that's a charge.
Exactly.
Against you.
And that brings me right to my story. So me and a friend from the UK, he came to visit me one January when I was in Madrid. I will never forget, man. It was the January of 2020.
COVID January.
Yeah, COVID January. He came to visit me. He lives in London in the UK. So I said, come cross, you know, because he's my childhood friend, you know. We went to prep school together, went to Aparta High School together, and he ended up living in the UK, and I was back in Jamaica until I came here, and I didn't see him until then. So I said, come, visit me. And we were there in Madrid, in the big train station called Sol. Have you seen it?
Yeah, I've been there.
Yeah, so we were there, and usually in Madrid, people would have like spectaculars. You'd see magicians on the street, you see musicians.
Full city vibe.
Yeah, you know, people doing all kind of things. And we were inside the train station, and we decided that we wanted to watch this magician. You know, I've seen the magician before, and I wanted my friend to take him in because he was a good magician, honestly. You know? And we were there watching the Fanatics, and my friend took out his phone. And he started to record, right? And after 2 minutes, I felt a tap on my shoulder.
It's always a tap on the shoulder.
It's always a tap on the shoulder.
shoulder.
A tap on the shoulder. And it was the police. And he said, documentos.
See?
Not even good evening, good morning, hello. I am Juan, you know, whatever. Documents right away. And I say, okay. And in this moment, I'm like, what is this, you know? I've never been stopped by the police up until this point in Spain. This is my first time the police has ever stopped me.
Lucky you.
And he dragged us to the side, right? And he asked me for my document. And my first mistake was trying to speak in my broken Spanish to this police officer.
Not speaking Spanish is an asset.
It's also an asset speaking Spanish. But that time I didn't speak good Spanish, you know. So I was trying to explain to him. I took out my document, you know, and I gave it to him. And first of all, it was 4 of them, actually. It was 4 of them. But that one came to me. And there was a group of them back there, you know. And he took my documents and he asked my friend for his document. But my friend, he didn't speak any Spanish at all. Like any Spanish, only English. And he was a tall, dark guy, you know?
Imposing.
So he said, I don't have any documents. Passport. but he didn't have his passport with him at the time. It was at my house because he was staying with me when he came. And the police, and when he asked me for his passport, my friend turned around with the phone, and not knowing, he was videoing the police. Not knowing, he was like stuck in the position, and he had his phone out like this. And the police said, "Me estás grabando?" And my friend didn't understand, me either. You know, and the police officer, I kid you not, he slapped the phone out my friend's hand. Remember, we're at a fanatic, there's a magician happening, there's everybody, there's the whole world there. And we became the fanatic.
The attraction. No?
The attraction. He slapped the phone out my friend's hand, and then he took me like this by my shirt. And he pulled us over to the wall, and he pushed us both against the wall. You know when the police like kick your feet?
Yeah, to search.
So they can search you. He kicked our feet.
Movie thing.
Yeah. I had on 2 jackets that day, you know, because in January in Madrid, the winter is really cold. And he started to search my jacket. He said, "Take off your jacket." So I took my jacket off. He was looking inside my jacket. He was looking with the intention as if like somebody told him something and I fit the description. Right? So that was me. And he took my jacket off. You know, I had to take my jacket. I had another jacket. I had to take my shirt off. My shirt. I had to take my shirt off. And then eventually, I didn't even know there were bathrooms inside that station. He opened the bathroom door and he sent me in. I was shirtless. And another officer came in. The other 2 officers came in. There were 3 guys and 1 female. And the other 3 went inside with me. And they were asking me like, you know, what are you doing here, for example? You know, where are you from? I didn't understand much, but I could answer what I could answer. I was shaking at the time.
Obviously, bro, like that's
Yeah.
shirtless, being searched
In the
you
middle
don't
of the
understand
station. Exactly.
you don't understand
Why?
what's going
What did
on.
I do? You know? And then eventually they brought my friend in and he got the same treatment. They kicked his feet, they took his shirt off, whatever. They were searching us. And my friend, I'm a much calmer person, but my friend is fiery. So he was there like giving them the face and like, you know what you guys doing or whatever. I was telling him to calm down. And in that moment, I was speaking patois to my friend, and my friend was responding in English, and to the police, I was speaking a little bit of Spanish. So imagine that whole
Tobacco.
confusion. Yeah. So eventually, I don't know what happened. They decided that, you know, they wanted to release us now.
They didn't find anything. That's
They
what
didn't
happened.
find anything, you know, and they threw my shirt on the floor to me, and I put my shirt on, put my jacket on, and they released us outside the station there. And the police, I remember specifically he said like to my friend, like, aquí en España, la policía se respeta. So in the end, what I took from this was just a big power show.
Yeah. The
For
moment,
no reason.
I do feel like I'm sorry that happened to you, bro. Definitely, like no one deserves that to happen to you.
And
your
for-
friend,
and for
your
nothing.
and your friend coming on vacation, like,
Exactly,
yeah, for nothing
yeah.
as well. But a lot of the times with the police, like this comes back to how we treat the police as well. We are expected to show a certain sort of respect, but none is given to us.
None is given. None
It's
is
like-
ever given to us.
It's like they expect you to be on your knees when
Waiting
they
for them, yeah.
approach you. It's to be yes, sir, thank you, sir, whatever you say, sir, I'll do this, sir,
Everything, sir. Yes, sir.
yes, sir.
No, sir.
That's the reaction they want. They don't want a normal, genuine reaction where if you're searching me, my initial reaction is not to say yes, sir. My reaction is to say why.
Exactly,
are you
that's another
searching me?
thing.
If
They usually don't give you a motive as to why you're searching me. They're supposed to give you a motive. Okay, you know, we saw you do this. We heard this, da.
yeah.
They don't give you any motive.
And you're a logical person. If he said that, oh, someone said that they saw you do this, then I'll be like, okay.
Okay?
You
I'll
have some
prove
of
you
it.
wrong.
But
I'll prove that I wasn't that person.
just basically almost a full strip search again.
Yeah.
just for no with no reason. To this day,
And-
you don't know why.
No, and as you guys were saying earlier, like there, even if, for example, I were to take this police officer's badge number, or it would be to no avail.
Yeah.
There'd be no result.
What would come of it? Like, it would-
You know. Another thing is like a few days after that, you know, cause I decided that I will not go back to that train station there to stop to look at anything if I do decide to go. To be honest, since then, I haven't set foot downstairs inside that station, just because of what happened.
Because you don't want, even though you the chances of it happening again are slim. You just
Yeah, but just
the imagery.
just the memory and the trauma, you know, the bad treatment that you went through,
Yeah.
it makes you not want to see that place again.
Yeah, and we always say that, and people always say that, oh, we don't like the police or stuff like that.
No, the police give you a reason not to
Yeah.
like them.
Yeah.
Another thing I think
respect
I should
the police.
say.
They have a purpose in society. They're doing a job,
Yeah.
but it's how you do the job as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you're teaching kids and you decide, oh, I'm not gonna teach you this because I don't want to.
You're a bad
Teacher,
teacher. bad
you know?
teacher. Another thing I think I should say is like a week after that, I don't know. I just had enough, you know, because it was still on my head, you know. And a coworker was talking to me like, "How was your week, Ben? How was your weekend?" And I told him the story at the school I was working at the time, and she was very nice. She said, "Wow, you know, sorry that had to happen to you. Like, would you like to report it?" And she actually followed me to a police station, which is like it was 5 minutes from where we work, to try to report it. But the problem was, I didn't get the badge number. I could only describe the person. I have his picture in my head right now.
You won't
to be
never
honest.
forget
I will
that
never
face.
forget that face.
Legendary face in the
And,
back of your mind, no.
You know, to no avail. So in the end, I couldn't do anything.
Yeah. And if your friend was allowed to even record something, you would have like, oh, this is evidence of what happened.
Exactly.
So it's gonna be 2 black guys against the word of 4 police officers.
And we know how that goes already.
Like, you have no credibility against them.
Yeah.
Without any evidence to support your arguments, it's gonna get lost.
But as I said, like, it's crazy thinking about the body cam issue. I'm not allowed to record what you're doing, but then again, you don't have a body cam. So
Alright,
people can actually
the,
see what
the
happened.
thing with body cams is not every country has body cams.
but
I think now in Jamaica we're getting body cams as well.
Yeah.
In the
yeah.
US, they have because of obviously the instances,
Mm-hmm.
they're getting body cams. But Europe exists in this thing where they believe they are in a post-racist society,
And that is not true.
That is
That
not
is far from the truth.
and that is because their
Yeah.
population doesn't have a voice.
As you were saying, 85% is being shown, and the 15% that's not being shown
Stifled.
will give you a wrong idea of what's actually happening here.
Exactly,
Yeah.
bro. But even with that being said, we don't want to end on a note where we're like, oh, this is exactly what it is in the society.
Yeah, you know?
But it is a part of it. We can come here and speak all the great things about living in Europe, living in Spain, enjoying the world and traveling, but there are dark parts of it as well. I don't know if you have seen the series Dark Tourist, like he looks in that stuff. Like there is a dark part of it as well, and the people living in a society experience it. And there is no perfect society on earth. Every society has discrimination and stuff like that, but it's the things that we can do to help decrease it or even eliminate it that matters.
Or highlight it.
Highlight it. Don't pretend like it doesn't exist.
Exactly. To see it and be blind, to hear it and be deaf
Yeah.
is the most harm that you can do
Yeah.
when it comes to these issues. To
And
be
don't
very honest.
and don't use culture as an excuse.
Culture is always the excuse, to be honest.
Don't use culture as an excuse. No one wants to be associated with a culture of. No one should want to be associated
Yeah,
with a culture
exactly.
of discrimination and racism.
And-
like
Going back to that, I actually wanted to comment on that about the blackface here in Spain.
yeah.
Did you see the video that the town hall of Madrid, El Ayuntamiento de Madrid, that
Yeah.
they sent out?
Yep, the government sent out a blackface
ex-
video.
and that says like how much bigger can it get? The government is not an organization within Spain. The government sent that video. So
for the kids.
So this was the face of the video that they sent out, you know? And in that video, there was a guy in blackface, but not only blackface, he was speaking in a Spanish accent that was ridiculous by any manner.
So he's making a mockery of what the black
I
people
think
that
it was
come
a
here,
mockery.
how they speak their Spanish.
I think it was a mockery.
And
In 2024, imagine.
These things are
That
still
wa-
happening here.
That was a slap in my face.
and-
I really didn't expect that.
Bro, like they have entire events here where they dress up in blackface.
Yeah, there's this event in Valencia.
Yeah.
What's the name of this?
Even up north as well. Like whenever
Yeah.
there's a carnival, they
Yes,
always
yeah,
have
yeah.
someone in blackface at the carnivals.
Yeah,
I
the,
can
the
go.
name of this we'll put it here, you know.
Yeah.
But it's in Valencia. They do
Yeah. For the
full
audi-
blackface. They dress in red.
For the audio listeners,
Paint-
check it out on YouTube.
They paint their lips
Yep.
and they have a carnival. They have fun.
They have a march.
Yeah.
They have a march. Full movement. And it's what? The culture. But guys, if you're a Spanish person and you're listening to this, you know what? Anyone
just Spanish
listening,
people.
anyone that's listening,
Yeah.
I hope you can take something away from this podcast.
This
Share
discussion,
your
yeah.
favorite parts. And yeah, let's start a discussion. Hashtag boycott Conquitos.
Definitely. I saw the same thing when I came here in Spain,
Yeah.
and I was like, wow. The
Hashtag
name Conquitos,
Little Congolese.
little Congolese, and knowing what's happening in the Congo these days, and knowing what happened with King Leopold,
Oh.
you know, it even goes further than Conquitos. In Belgium, there's actually a candy, a chocolate, with the hand of a person
Cut off.
cut off. And we know how that story went with King Leopold when
There's
he went
still
to
statues
Congo.
of King Leopold and still statues of people with their hands cut off. in
Millions of people
Belgium. I went to
were
Belgium
killed
and
in
I
the
saw some
Congo.
of them. Still being killed.
And they don't teach them about it in school. They say it happened for maybe like 5 minutes and then brush over it.
Oh, in Belgium, they had zoos with black people even in the 20th
Yeah.
century, bro. I think even in the 19, I don't know when, 1920 something, maybe they stopped those zoos.
Very recently.
like less than 100 years ago.
Yeah, which is very recently.
Zoos with black people. But heavy episode, heavy discussion, and it's not that we'll probably come back
I
to it
feel
again.
hot.
We'll come back to it again, and thank you so much for tuning in. And if you can just engage in the discussion, talk about it. Don't act like you don't see it. Don't ignore it, because even if we might not say anything, we feel it at the end of the day. Then when we're in bed lying down at night, those are the things we think about
Yeah, because we live it day to day.
day to
So
day.
it affects us.
So thank you for tuning in. A much longer episode, but I think it needed a much longer episode. I'll be happy to talk 2 more hours about
Trust
this.
me.
If
I
I could,
can go all day.
if I could talk 2 more hours about this, and I would certain that it would change everything, easy. But thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to share and subscribe and
like the video.
and like the video as well. And we'll be back again with another episode. Black History Month, Reggae Month, Bob Marley Month, Jamaica Month. That is February. And that's it. We out.
Yaadman Podcast are the one. The Yaadman Podcast. Tell you about the Yaadman Podcast. The Yaadman Podcast. Tell you about the Yaadman Podcast. The Yaadman Podcast. Tell you about the Yaadman Podcast. The Yaadman Podcast. Tell you about the Yaadman Podcast.
Subscribe now. We out.